If you've ever tried to boil down the difference between Judaism and all other religions, trying to explain it to another non-Jew or to an individual who is Jewish but having no real connection or association to Yahdus itself, listen to the following insight of Shamshul Phil Hirsch, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, and you'll never have trouble doing it again. Rav Hirsch points out that within the Aseret HaDibros, now we know that the Aseret HaDibros, of course, according to Rav Saadia Gaon, effectively encapsulate all of the entirety of mitzvahs to be found in the Torah itself. And if any of us had to choose a corpus of Torah that would embody within itself the greatest, not numerically, but qualitatively, the greatest portion of our belief system, it would be the Aseret HaDibros. And yet the crescendo of the Aseret HaDibros, of the mitzvahs bein Adam lamakom, between man and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and bein Adam lachaveiro, between man and man, is that of the Sachmod. Says Rav Hirsch, no other religion whatsoever has such a mitzvah, has such a commandment or law on its books. Why is that the case? It's rather simple. If indeed a particular belief system has amongst its belief the notion that one is permitted to have freedom of mind, then permitted to come up with a mitzvah, the likes of Lasachmo. And if indeed a nation, if indeed a belief system would want to harness and banish beliefs that would be dangerous to their government or system within the mind of an individual, even if it wanted to, it would never be able to employ it, simply because you can never prove or know what's going on in the mind of another. So no other religion, no other nation has the notion of Losachmo. It says of Hirsch, we have Losachmo. Why do we have Losachmo? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu in his infinite wisdom understands that if a person commits thievery, no one gets up in the morning, never previously having stolen anything from anyone, no one gets up in the morning, gets out of bed and says, I'm going to steal from someone today. Rather, the individual has taken upon himself to study the matter and to legitimize within his mind, either because he needs it desperately, or he's lazy, or he feels the other person is not deserving of it. And he decides, you know what, it's not such a bad thing. It's not such a terrible thing for me to take that which belongs to another. And then he first decides how we will go about committing the crime of taking something belonging to another. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his greater wisdom, understands that our actions are not the result of our robotic thinking, but rather it is our human thoughts, our frailties, and our wonderful aspirations and desires that cause us to either act the way we do or to refrain from acting the way we do. And therefore, instead of addressing the action of the individual, Kadosh Baruch Hu ultimately wishes to address that which motivates the action that we perform, that which inspires the act that we fail to act upon. That's Losachmo. That we're supposed to try to live our lives. We're supposed to try to live day to day in a fashion that we think properly. Because if we think properly, then we'll have the appropriate desires and appropriate wishes. But if we're not doing so, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to us, Lo sosuru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem. Don't follow your hearts. Don't follow your passions. Don't follow your eyes wherever they will take you. But rather first think of what it means to be engaged in that thinking process, let alone acting upon the process itself. So in a word, what distinguishes Judaism from all other religions? Our thoughts, the way we're supposed to think, what we're supposed to be thinking of, what we're supposed to be desirous of engaging in, what we are supposed to eschew and keep at a distance. Losachmo is the cutting edge difference in the mind game between Klal Yisrael and all the other Umos HaOlam. Think about it and have a great Shabbos.